Hello and welcome to this MAMP Pro screencast. Today I'm going to be talking about installing WordPress. I'm going to be using OS X Mavericks and MAMP 3.06. I'm going to be installing WordPress two different ways. The first way I'm going to be using the extras feature here in MAMP Pro, and the second way I'm going to be installing it manually. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with the extras way of doing it. I already set up a My Extra host in username documents host WP host, and I've set my PHP version to 5.1.6, which is a little older version of PHP. So if I go to the extras menu here and I click plus, I get a warning message because I have a warning message here, and it says possible reasons why no hosts content management systems appear here is because an incompatible PHP version, or it might not be enough free space on your hard disk, which is a low probability, but that may be. So if I simply go back here and switch my PHP version to a more modern version of PHP 5.5.14, restart my servers, and wait a second, I should be able to see the content management systems. And so far here in 3.0.06, we have Drupal, Joomla, Web Edition, and WordPress. And I'm going to pick WordPress and install. So here we have a dialog, and it's as simple as filling this out, and you'll be up and running. You do have to fill in some email address here, probably your real one. Down here, directory, you can add a subdirectory if you want. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put the WordPress files in my WP host directory. Database name, I'm going to just change to WordPress_screencasts for simplicity, so we can see when we look at the database. And that's going to be your database name, and we're going to look at that later in phpMyAdmin. Username and password are set to admin and admin. Highly recommended to change that after you install WordPress, and you can do that through the WordPress interface. So I'm going to go ahead and install here. It's going to install in my document root, and it looks like we have a successful install of WordPress on using the extras feature. And here's a little WordPress icon that shows up when you do it with the extras. Okay, so I have my extra host successfully installed. You can also open the web browser from here as well. One thing I want to point out is with any content management system behind the scenes, it did set up your database, and I just want to show you where it is. So if you need to look at that, you'll know where to look. Just go to the Web Start button here, and in your Web Start you can use phpMyAdmin to administer the database. If you click on databases, here's our WordPress screencast database, and that's what the installer did. It just basically named this database, and then WordPress took care of the rest. And so that's about it. So that's so you know where your database is if you do set it up using the extras host. Okay, so now I'm going to set up WordPress on my own. So what I did is I went to the WordPress website, wordpress.org, and I downloaded a version of WordPress. And if I go to my downloads folder, this is what was downloaded, a folder called WordPress. So I'm just going to copy that, and I am going to go to my documents hosts folder, and I'm just going to copy this WordPress folder in there. So once I have that, I can go to my hosts and add a new host. We're going to call this WP own, I guess. I'm doing it myself, or yeah, we'll call it myself. And I need to set up the directory, and my document root is going to be WordPress. So once I do that, my host is set up, and I'm going to save. So now I have a host set up, and now I have to go through and manually set up the database. So if I click on WP myself, it says, hey, there's not anything set up here, and let's go ahead and create the setup here. So what they need is a database name, a username, password, host, and table prefix. So let's go ahead and go. So database name is WordPress. Well, I'll get to the database name in a second, but I want to quickly set up the username and password. When you set up MAMP Pro, MySQL is set up. We set up MySQL with a root user, and the password is root. You should probably change that password, but I haven't, and it is still root, so that is what I'm going to use. The database name, WordPress. Okay, this is important. You have to actually go into, if I go back into my MAMP Pro, you actually have to set up the database name manually. So if I go to Web Start, I go to PHP MyAdmin, I go to Databases, and I say create date. Okay. I'm going to create a database called WP myself, and I'm going to create it. So we have a WP myself database now. So now I can go back into the WordPress setup wizard and type in WP myself, and I'm set up there. These are going to be the table prefixes. You can change this to whatever you want. If you're running multiple, just as it says, if you're running multiple WordPress sites, it'll help you out with identifying them. So we're all good to go here, and all I have to do is press submit, and it looks sparky, and it looks like we're done. Run install, and it says the famous 5-minute installation process. So I'm gonna just go through all of this as well. I'm gonna make this my username admin, which you probably shouldn't do with a password of admin, which is of course telling me it's very weak. My fake address at fake.com. Okay. And allow searches. Okay, that's all just internet stuff, I guess. Search engines can look at this, and we can do that, and we can log in. And let's see what happens. So just as before, we're at the starts page of WordPress, and I have successfully installed MAMP Pro, both with the extras and myself. And as you can see, the extras here has a little WordPress symbol here indicating it is an extra, and this done myself isn't. And that's going to conclude this screencast on installing WordPress.